Must be so stank. Child, it be a mess. It be so many fights, people getting on drunk, high, talking to you crazy. You know, people really don't have no respect for bus drivers. They really don't. And that's the reason why, and I used to catch the bus, so I know how it is. I always work. I used to catch the bus every day to get to and from work, save up money so I could go get me a car. But I realized that people do not have respect for bus drivers at all. And Route 1 like really reminds you that, you know what I'm saying? And me, coming from the person who used to be the passenger on the bus to now the driver of the bus, listen, I'll put your ass off quick. I get to the point where, first of all, when I'm driving, I don't like being stressed out when I'm driving. I already, gotta, multitask while I'm driving, which is already dangerous in itself. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you first start and you don't know where you're going at, you don't know the routes like that. Because everywhere you go at, you gotta, know by memory. You know what I'm saying? And I like to be in my right mind when I'm driving. I'm literally driving a 40-foot vehicle. Like, why would you get on the bus, disrespecting me, you know what I'm saying, cursing me, which they don't, you know what I'm saying, because I will not let them. But, if you're one of them people who like to disrespect bus drivers and stuff like that, why the fuck would you get on the bus disrespecting somebody that's about to drive your ass? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know, how crazy some people may be. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what a person is going through. You know what I'm saying? People really don't look at a person that's driving a bus as a human being. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is crazy to me. It is so insane to me. Like, it just be so crazy, unbelievable. And it's just like, bitch, like, I don't have to, like, the things that be going through my mind, I be wanting to say, but it's like, I hold my tongue. I do. I try my hardest to hold my tongue, you know what I'm saying? Because it just don't be worth it, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I'm not going to do is sit up there and allow for somebody to get on the bus and disrespect me. And, bitch, you ain't even got no motherfucking car. I will put your ass off this motherfucking bus quick and put you back on your motherfucking feet, bitch. I don't have to sit up here and let you ride this bus. Or I could pull over to the bus stop and just stop driving. Like, for real, I swear to God. And I had a whole bus. We'll all sit here and wait till you either step off the bus, or we're going to sit up here and we're going to wait until security. When I get done calling dispatch, we'll wait until security get to this bus stop and put your ass off the bus. Simple as that. Simple as that. Because I'm just not with the fuck shit, like, at all. Like, I just don't understand, people that get on the bus acting better than the goddamn bus driver. Bitch, like, the bus driver life is good. The fuck, bitch, the bus driver making money. You should be asking the bus driver how the fuck they got their job. Like, I just don't understand, I really don't be understanding people. Like, what the fuck? I really don't be understanding people who be catching these buses and shit. Like, one bus driver, we actually had a bus driver that had got killed. He got his neck sliced open by one of the passengers here and died. And they put his name on all the street signs at our job inside the garage. So every street name at garage is Thomas Dunn, and in his memory, and I think they contributed to his funeral as well. I mean, girl, like, it's just it be some crazy wild shit going on the bus, but I'll be cool in it, you know what I'm saying? Like, people get on, you know, cause they don't be having no money, so, you know, I just let people ride. I don't sit up there, I don't fuss, I don't fight with people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, you know, if bus drivers are having issues and stuff like that, you know, you know, it's probably, you know, the way how they probably talk to people and stuff, but I don't be having an issue with people, you know. I don't have an issue with no bus or with no passengers and stuff. I don't allow it. Like I said, I'll pull over or I'll just stop the bus, or I'll cut the air conditioner off, because them buses get hot, like a literal sweat box, literally. Like, it be so damn hot on that bus, I cut the whole AC off and leave the booster fan on inside the driver's seat for myself, and that be it. And I bet you they gonna be pulling over at every bus stop. I swear to God, like, I do not play. But people who just get on the bus and they just start issues with the bus driver. Like, I had one girl get on the bus talking about and I mean, it's just like you know, people they get on the bus, they expect that we are, you know, we are like a GPS, and we not a GPS. We just do we do a certain route. You know what I'm saying? We do routes, so we just go down certain streets. We just know what street to go down. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because we got like 30 to 40 routes, and every route that we do, you have to know it by heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, you have to already mentally know, because you cannot GPS where you're going. You wouldn't be able to GPS where you're going no ways. So they give you these papers with every street, you know what I'm saying? And if you're a bus driver, you already know, because you'll drive so much that you don't even need the paperwork to look at while you're driving. You know what I'm saying? You just know where to go at, you know? And you know all 40 or the 30 routes, however many routes that you know your city may got. But people expect that we know, like, you know, even like people that's not from a certain city, that you know, they may drive in that city, you know, because we do have a lot of people in Tampa that's driving here as bus operators, but they not from Tampa, right? So it can be kind of hard when you first get hired trying to learn these bus routes and stuff like that. So with me being from Tampa, like, a lot of these bus routes I already knew, and plus I was catching a bus, you know what I'm saying? So it was easy. I already knew, like, you know, like Route 1 that I'm finna do right now in a little bit. It was easy for me to do that because I had unrolled that route before, and I knew, you know, I know where to go at, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people would get on the bus and be like, okay, bus driver, I need you to drop me off at on that at that CVS right there. And it's just like, you know, like what CVS? You know, it's just like, we don't do, you know, locations or destinations, we do streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, it's kind of hard for me to explain, but people, you know who are bus drivers, you know, they understand what I'm saying. But you know, they get upset. You know, try to explain to them, you know, I'm not sure, you know, I don't know that location. You know what I'm saying? They give you an address. I'm not aware of that address. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if I, you know, have seen, you know, like the building that they may be talking about, you know, and they tell me, you know, do you go past this building? And if I know it, you know, I'll be like, yeah, I know that building. You know what I'm saying? I know where that address is at. You know, I know I could drop you off there. You know what I'm saying? And I try to help them out. So, like, if it's not a bus stop right in front of that location, you know, I drop them off right in front of that location, so they don't have to walk from wherever the bus stop actually is all the way down, you know, the street to get to that location. But when you don't know, like, an actual address or a certain place where somebody is trying to go at, and they get upset with you, you know what I'm saying? That's where, like, you know, I get really aggravated and stuff like that, because it's like I don't know, what you expect out of me. You know what I'm saying? I left my last job because I'm done doing. I don't like doing security. You know what I'm saying? Like the only type of security I like to do was when I would do like the concerts and stuff. Cause I had a lot of fun. It was like it didn't even feel like work. You get to watch all these famous people perform and stuff like that. It was nice, but I left that job, because I wanted to do something a little bit more relaxing, and I like driving. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I do. I'm driving. Don't come on the bus asking me, by the address and stuff like that, because baby, I don't know. And if I tell you I don't know, I'm being honest. I would try to work with you. You could pull out your phone, GPS something, and I would, try to, give you the best routes that you can take, the best bus routes that you can take. And if I connect to those bus routes, depending on what street that I'm driving down, I will put you off at a bus stop. That'll be quicker and easier for you to get to that bus route so you can get to wherever it is that you're going. Please do not get on the bus, getting upset because I don't know where you're going. I don't know. That's not my job to know where you're going or be in your business about where you're going. And I think there's like a really big misconception about bus drivers, you know what I'm saying? And, what we're supposed to be knowing and stuff like that. And all we really supposed to be knowing is where the fuck we need to go at, what streets we need to go down. And that's literally it, and how to drive. And that's it. Like, people really be getting on the bus trying us or trying to try us, you know what I'm saying? But they ain't gonna do nothing but try themselves, because some of these bus drivers mean. Some of these bus drivers is crazy as hell, and they will put your ass off the bus. Like, for real. At least I try to be lenient with people, you know what I'm saying? I understand, people got, disabilities and stuff like that. You got people that's homeless, like how they took over, the homeless people, they took over Route 1. They try to get out the sun, or it's, right now it's kind of cold, so they try to get out the cold. They ride the bus because it's warm, but the thing is, they don't get off. And so it keeps other people, like, literally, like, the bus be like a subway train in New York City. And I've never been to New York, but I've heard a lot of people say, like, damn, that Route 1 is like a New York subway train, and there is no room. Literally, everybody is shoulder to shoulder. It be packed in to the point where, like, the air conditioner, the AC, you can barely feel it. You can barely feel it circulating. You know what I'm saying, on the bus, because it just be so packed on that damn bus. Like, that shit be crazy. That shit be crazy, man. And then people get aggravated, they get irritated. They get on the bus with beds, all type of shit. Big ass suitcases and luggage and shit like that. I mean, like, they get on the bus with everything. Big ass bikes and scooters and everything. Like, literally. They dogs, they cats. Like, man, that Route 1 is something else. It really is. And you always late. And that's the thing. So, as a bus driver, we get breaks, but we also have a certain time that we're supposed to be driving by. And if you look at the time that we're supposed to be driving by, a lot of people be like, damn, that shit is unrealistic. And it seems like that. It be like that. But when you look at a bus schedule, and you're standing at a bus stop, and you at a bus stop, you looking at the day and the time and the bus route and what time the bus is supposed to be at that bus stop that you're standing at, we go by a schedule where that we have to drive by, that if we're on time, we will meet you at that bus stop at the time that bus schedule says that bus is supposed to be there at that bus stop. But in reality, You have to stop for you have to stop for people. Like on Route 1, it's free. So every bus stop has like a group of people. That takes time. You got, people with wheelchairs. You got to stop the bus. And you ain't got to, you're not just stopping and, putting it in park. You got to stop the bus, kneel the bus. Technically, you got to stop the bus, pop the parking brake, put the bus in neutral, kneel the bus down, make sure the door is open, turn on the ramp. You got to deploy the ramp. You got to deploy the ramp. And in the ramp, you got to hope that the ramp, ain't, malfunctioning and stuff like that. And you got to let the ramp all the way out. Let the person, if they don't have one of those little wheelchairs, that the little power wheelchairs, and they got a mechanical wheelchair, like the other day, like I had a guy, he didn't have a power wheelchair, so he was wheeling himself on the bus, but he was like really messed up, like he was very disabled, and he was taking a very long time. So stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, when by the time you get to the next bus stop, of course, once they get in, on the bus, up the ramp, they get inside the bus. Sometimes they got to squeeze in, from like the entrance to like the walk area. They got to, turn around and stuff like that, get inside position so you can strap down the wheelchair and stuff like that. And that shit takes time. By the time you get done, strapping them up. Sometimes I like to, bring the ramp back in while they, taking their time to get themselves in position so I can strap down the chair. So by the time I get done strapping down their chair, I could just, put the bus back and drive off. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to waste time and, pull the ramp back in and, raise the bus back up and stuff like that. I could just, push down the parking brake, put the gear back and drive off. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit take a long ass time. It really do. And you got to be fast and quick or you're going to be late. You're going to be late. And when you're late, don't get me wrong. When you're late, you could be like an hour late. You're going to get, your paycheck going to be good. So I'm pretty sure a lot of drivers here, they really don't care about being late. You know what I'm saying? But you may have to deal with angry passengers. You may get, to a bus stop and the passenger be like, damn, y'all always late. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I got to be to work. Da-da-da-da. But what people don't understand is y'all are the ones who make the bus late. You know what I'm saying? It's not the driver. It's, with Route 1 being free, like I said, every bus stop going to be packed versus all the other buses, all the other bus routes that people got to pay for. You may be able to pass by a lot of empty bus stops, and then you get to like almost towards the end of your EOL or almost near the transit center, and before you get to the transit center, you might have somebody standing at a bus stop. You know what I'm saying? Versus Route 1, you literally have somebody at every single bus stop. It's not just a straight shot like you just being able to pick people up from one transit station, drive down the street, pick up a few people, and then make it on time to the next transit station. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to end up late. You know what I'm saying? It's the people. You know what I'm saying? That's why the bus be late. Because there's so many people. It's not just... That's another thing I don't understand why people get on the bus. They be upset. You got to understand, it's not just... This is the bus. It's for the public. It's not just for you. You know what I'm saying? Like... It just be crazy, but I also can understand, people got to go to work and stuff like that. They, and you're going to be late. But if it make you feel better, for people who end up being late to work and stuff like that, at least, whatever job that you work, and more than likely, it's a job where when you're late, at least you still get to clock the fuck in. You know what I'm saying? And go to work. As a bus driver, I don't know how it is in other cities, But down here in Tampa, Florida, as a bus driver, when you're late to work, it is considered a miss out. It is considered a miss out. You can immediately get fired for that shit. Like if you have a certain amount of miss outs in a certain time period, you can get fired. If you have in a certain amount of months, if you have a certain amount of miss outs, you can get fired. And literally, I ended up making a mistake. I had a missed out. I had called in for my report time, and my report time was 3 a.m. in the morning. So I always get to work an hour early. I get to work at like 2 o'clock in the morning because every second counts. Every second counts. They do not fucking play. Every second counts. So if I clock in, my report time is 3 o'clock, but I clocked in at 3 o'clock and I was sent home. And there's no coming into work at 3:01. There's no coming into work at 3 o'clock. There's no coming into work at 3:02. I thought my report time was 3:30. Excuse me. I thought my report time was 3:30. I'm just spitting all over the place. And I forgot. I completely forgot. You know, like I said, I'm already getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, just to make sure I'm dressed and, you know, ready and prepared, got everything I need, you know, get on the road. And I'm driving to work, you know, by 2 o'clock, and just in case if I need to stop somewhere, so I give myself an hour, you know, because there really don't be, you know, many places open at 2 o'clock in the morning down here in Tampa. But sometimes I might need to stop by the gas station or something like that, go get something to eat, breakfast or whatever. And I try to give myself a little time to get prepared. I'm thinking that I was clocking in at 3:30 because you can only clock in 30 minutes before your report time. So that'll give me enough time to, you know, get my pre-trip ready and stuff like that. I always clock in 30 minutes before. Thinking that I was clocking in at 3:30, my clock-in time was actually 3 o'clock, and I was supposed to clock in technically at 2:30. Had I, you know, was actually, you know, very prepared and was on point, I would have clocked in at 2:30. Because the type of schedule that I'm on a schedule called the extra board. And sometimes when I get to work, I might be on standby. The extra board is just in case, like, if anybody calls off, you get to take their work. You know what I'm saying? So I get to take anybody's work who calls off, you know what I'm saying? And it's always somebody calling off, so I'm always taking people work. You know what I'm saying? It brings you extra money. You know what I'm saying? So, versus people who got a regular route, you know, because I didn't take a regular route. I was like, let me get on the extra board, because sometimes you might not always want to, you know, drive Route 1 every day. You might not want to drive Route 6 every day. Sometimes you might want to drive Route 5 or 275 or, you know, another route, you know, just to switch up the scenery or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So, I ended up getting a miss out, and they ended up sending me home for the day. You know, and I'm just, you know, like, damn. You know, I'm just like, I was like, damn, like, it's really like that. Like, they really don't play, you know? Like, that shit was crazy, because when I walked in, she was like, you have a miss out. She had like this little smile on her face, so I thought she was joking, you know what I'm saying? And I went to clock in, and it really said, like, it was like you had a miss out. And I was like, damn, like, I really got a miss out. Because I always try to be on point when I come to work, you feel me? But damn. But I understand, you know, people be upset and stuff like that. People who got to go to work, you know, that catch the bus and stuff. But if you late, at least, you know, more than likely you work a job, you know, that when you get to work and you're still late, you know, you could call in, let your manager know. As long as you called in and let them know ahead of time that you may be late, they still gonna let you come in to work. You know what I'm saying? Versus my job, if you late, they don't give a fuck what you going through. Your ass might get fired the first time your ass is late. You can't even, mind you, a minute late. A minute late. As soon as that clock, like, you gotta be on their time. Excuse me, you gotta be on their time. Like, dead ass. Because if that clock go over 1 second late, your ass is going home. Your ass is going home. And you better hope and pray you still got a job when you wake up the next morning, or when you get home and you call later on that afternoon and we call for your report time. You better hope and pray your ass got some report time and some work. But it's about that time. Let me see. I gotta find this paddle. I'm not taking none of my I'm pretty sure this is it right here. Yeah, this is it. Let me get on over there and walk on over there. I start route 1 at 1. Oh my god, I'm late, bro. Let me hurry up and get on over there, because I'm already late. See, I start route 1 at fucking 1:15. And see, this is all I need. I'm not taking nothing else. Because I already got my car here. So when I get off work, I could just come on down here and drive home, get my report time and come down here and go home. But more than likely the bus is late, so I really ain't even got to worry about nothing. Let me go on over here so they can see me and they'll call in the dispatch and try to give me a miss out. Oh, they here. Yep. Time to go on in. Bye, y'all.